Christine Leehealey, and I'm a board-certified rheumatologist. I have treated patients with arthritis and autoimmune disease for over a decade, and some of the most common questions I get on a daily basis are, what foods should I eat to help my condition? What kind of diet is recommended to help with my joint pain? While there are no major clinical trials that have addressed this, I have begun to research these questions which are so important to my patients. Based on the medical literature we have available, I really believe in the power of food choices. And not only have I developed recommendations, but I've also incorporated these into delicious recipes to share with you. So before we get started cooking, I wanted to explain all the different kinds of nightshade vegetables there are. Potatoes are unfortunately a nightshade, and the solanine in them is mostly in the skin and outer portions. So if you peel the potato, it's perfectly fine to go ahead and eat them, unless they are old and they've been exposed to sunlight or in your pantry too long. They'll sprout, they'll turn green, and at that point you know there's actually more solanine content in them because they're trying to fend away insects. So it's a good idea to throw those away and not use them. Only use fresh potatoes. Tomatoes are another nightshade, unfortunately. They have wonderful properties in other aspects, but unfortunately they have solanine in them as well. And that includes tomatillos, which are those little green-looking tomatoes. Eggplants are also a nightshade. If you eat them with any regularity, you'll want to substitute with squashes or zucchinis. There's so many different great varieties out there, so you can easily do that. Bell peppers, green, orange, red, all those different beautiful colors, unfortunately also have solanine in these peppers, and so you cannot eat them if you're sensitive. I like to substitute with great vegetables such as fennel, which have that similar juicy crunch, bok choy, and also Napa cabbage. All of these saute up really well, just like a pepper would. For all those cooks out there that like heat in their dishes, unfortunately jalapeno peppers, all these different great banana peppers and chili peppers are off limits. And a way you can substitute for those is horseradish. You can use fresh grated horseradish for some heat. There's also Chinese dry mustard. You can use mustard seed or mustard powder. That also generates a lot of heat. I like to use wasabi in some of my dishes, which I'll show you in a few minutes. That also has a lot of heat in it. Goji berries, which are all the rage right now, unfortunately have solanine in them and is a nightshade plant. Interestingly enough, tobacco plant is a nightshade as well and has plenty of solanine in it. It's the worst one because the medical studies all show it worsens joint pain. It also worsens rheumatoid arthritis, osteoarthritis, joint erosions, etc. If there's one nightshade you're going to avoid, you should avoid tobacco. Now on that note, let's get into the kitchen and start showing you some different ways to cook without nightshades. So it's easy enough to substitute nightshade vegetables with other vegetables in your cooking, but there's several sauces and condiments that have a lot of nightshade vegetables in them, and I'd like to show you different alternatives that you can do instead. I am going to make today a salsa and a barbecue sauce. Both are condiments that I can't live without, and both have a lot of nightshade vegetables in them. So first I'm going to make a mango salsa. I have here one mango that's been diced up really fine. I like to use yellow champagne mangoes, which you should be able to find in any grocery store these days. They're sweeter, they're less fibrous than regular mangoes that you might otherwise see, but both are fine to use for this salsa. I have half a cup of diced cucumbers, and I've left the skins on. You want to choose the cucumbers that have a really nice thin skin. I have a 1/4 cup of diced red onion. I have 2 tablespoons of chopped up cilantro. Now if you don't like cilantro, you could use whatever else you like, either basil or mint.
half a teaspoon of salt. And for some acidity, you're going to use the juice of 1 lime. I love how limes don't have any seeds to deal with. Now, usually a typical salsa has, tomatoes, peppers, tomatillos, jalapenos. Those are all nightshades, and that's why we're not using any of them in today's salsa, this mango salsa. Okay, so I got the whole lime squeezed in here, and I'm just going to stir this up. It looks really great and colorful, and my kids just love this as well. Now, if you want some heat in your salsa, you can put in 1 teaspoon of wasabi. You can also use grated horseradish or mustard sauce. Mustard powder works as well. I find that the wasabi has the best flavor that goes along with this mango. All right, it looks wonderful. It's colorful. It looks really cool and refreshing. I'm just going to try it with some chips. Really good. You're going to want to use this next time you have tortillas and fish tacos. So now I want to show you my barbecue sauce, which is vinegar based. A couple years ago I traveled to South Carolina where they love their barbecue, and I happened to eat some pulled pork and smoked chicken with a vinegar based barbecue sauce, and I thought it was really delicious. So I'm going to show you today how I make my version of a vinegar based barbecue sauce. I'm going to put in 1 cup of cider vinegar, just straight into my measuring cup. I'm adding a 1/4 cup of brown sugar, a half teaspoon of pepper, 1 teaspoon of salt. I add 2 tablespoons of dark molasses. I think it gives great flavor. And of course, if you want heat, instead of using chili pepper or chili pepper flake, you could use wasabi, or you could use a mustard sauce, which is extremely spicy, but also has better flavor, I think, with a barbecue sauce in general. So I'm just going to whisk this up, and it takes a couple minutes to dissolve the sugar and molasses. So it's quite interesting because cider vinegar is actually known as a folk remedy for arthritis. Many of my patients come to me already having tried drinking vinegar water, believe it or not, 3 times a day for their joint pain. Now, there's no actual evidence that this is effective in the medical literature. However, it's rumored that Hippocrates, who is the father of medicine, back in 400 BC, actually prescribed this for his arthritis patients, although I'm sure there weren't many alternatives at the time. Now, some of my patients really feel like it helps, but in any case, it definitely is not going to harm your arthritis. So my vinegar-based barbecue sauce is all ready, and I'm ready to dish up my dinner. So all of my dinner is cooked, and I want to show you how I use my salsa and sauce. I have tilapia here that I've sauteed, and I'm making fish tacos. I'm going to put my beautiful mango cucumber salsa right on top here. It's gorgeous with all these colors. Maybe put a little bit of cilantro on top. And then here I have my smoked pulled pork, which is tender and juicy, and I'm going to make it even more delicious with a little bit of my vinegar-based barbecue sauce. Great, I'm ready to eat. Where there's a will, there's a way. If you have sensitivity to solanine and you need to avoid nightshade vegetables, try these recipes, which are easy, creative, and satisfying substitutes. I'm Dr. Christine Leehealey, and these are Cooking Points for Healthy Joints.